Coca-Cola CEO says it may ramp up use of plastic bottles and raise prices due to President Trump's 25% tariff on aluminum imports. The beverage company currently imports aluminum for cans from Canada, though it could shift to look for domestic aluminum sources. What about the consumer? Because we heard from other staples so far this season, Procter & Gamble, your competitor Pepsi, they cited uncertainty with the consumer and how that's led to trade downs and different decisions. Are you seeing that? Certainly, we're seeing some disruption for consumers around the world. I think it's very important to recognize that some of the need for affordability didn't just start in 2025. Inflation was a factor for the last few years, and that lower-income segment of the population, in many markets, has been looking for affordability for a while. Coca-Cola, an iconic American brand synonymous with innovation, cultural influence, and global reach, is reportedly preparing to relocate its headquarters and operations outside the United States. This unprecedented decision, driven by aggressive U.S. tariffs on aluminum and other key inputs under President Donald Trump's administration, signals a profound shift in the global business landscape. The move, led by CEO James Quincey, underscores the mounting challenges multinational corporations face in navigating protectionist economic policies. The financial, cultural, geopolitical, and operational implications are vast and complex. As the company prepares to disentangle itself from its American roots, the decision to relocate stems from a sweeping economic policy shift under President Trump, whose administration has imposed broad tariffs on trade partners to bolster domestic industries and achieve economic self-sufficiency. However, these measures have sparked a trade war, with major partners like Canada, China, and others retaliating with tariffs on American goods. This environment has become economically untenable for Coca-Cola, a company reliant on a finely tuned global supply chain. Coca-Cola's operations depend on a complex web of international inputs: aluminum for cans, sweeteners from Latin America, flavorings from Asia, and machinery and marketing services that cross borders multiple times. Tariffs disrupt these flows, adding costs and unpredictability. The price of aluminum, a critical component for billions of cans annually, has surged due to U.S. import duties and retaliatory tariffs. Similarly, imported sweeteners and flavorings have become more expensive, squeezing profit margins. Absorbing these costs indefinitely risks significant profit declines or price hikes that could alienate consumers. As Quincey noted, operating from a country embroiled in tariff disputes places Coca-Cola at a competitive disadvantage, prompting the company to seek a more stable trade environment abroad. Coca-Cola's departure from Atlanta, Georgia, its home since the late 19th century, is more than a business maneuver. It's a symbolic rupture. But the main story is moderating inflation, coming into the landing zone, back to the classic story of earning the right for pricing. There has been this big story that's blown up between your competitor Pepsi and Carrefour, where they said, "Forget it, we're not going to put any Pepsi products on our shelves anymore because we don't like the price hikes that have come through." What do you deal with suppliers? Have you had any of those same kind of pushbacks or issues? When we deal with our own suppliers, we have a very long-standing approach, which is to go for very long-term relationships. Given our size, we like to get long-term security of supply. That's our number one problem, getting enough. We get long-term pricing agreements, and then we layer on hedging. So we very much smooth out the cycle. We don't tend to go up very quickly, and we don't tend to crash back down. The brand's red and white logo, recognized globally, has long embodied American entrepreneurial success, innovation, and cultural soft power. Its advertisements, often infused with themes of liberty and prosperity, have served as informal ambassadors of American values. The decision to leave suggests that the U.S., once a beacon of economic stability, is no longer a viable hub for global operations. Economically, the exit of a corporate giant like Coca-Cola, which employs tens of thousands directly and supports millions through distributors, retailers, and service providers, could trigger a domino effect. Other multinationals may reassess their U.S. operations, particularly those in tech, automotive, pharmaceutical, and financial sectors. This could disrupt real estate markets, employment trends, and domestic supply chains. The departure also raises questions about the efficacy of U.S. incentives like tax breaks and subsidies, which have long encouraged companies to maintain domestic operations. Lawmakers may need to rethink these tools in an era of trade wars and economic nationalism. Coca-Cola's relocation will reshape geopolitical dynamics in the corporate world. Early reports suggest the company is eyeing European countries like Germany, the Netherlands, or Switzerland, which offer robust logistics, favorable trade agreements, and political stability. Such a move would insulate Coca-Cola from U.S. trade turbulence while enhancing access to European markets. However, it introduces new challenges, navigating political, cultural, and logistical complexities in a new host country. For instance, stricter European environmental and labor regulations could force Coca-Cola to intensify its sustainability efforts, while a move to a less regulated jurisdiction like Singapore or the UAE might invite scrutiny from activists. Culturally, the move marks the end of an era. Coca-Cola's story has been intertwined with the American narrative, accompanying soldiers in World War II, symbolizing the American dream during the Cold War, and dominating advertising and public life. Its departure challenges the notion that national identity can outweigh economic imperatives. This could lead to disillusionment or even backlash from American consumers who take pride in homegrown brands. Globally, it signals that the U.S. may no longer be the reliable economic partner it once was, potentially weakening its soft power. Relocating a corporation of Coca-Cola's scale is a monumental task. The company must disentangle an operational footprint spanning over 50 U.S. facilities, including headquarters, research labs, distribution centers, and bottling plants. Legal teams face the daunting task of reviewing thousands of contracts, vendor agreements, and leases. Data security is another hurdle, as transferring proprietary formulas, marketing algorithms, and consumer data to foreign servers involves technical and cybersecurity risks. Compliance with new regulatory frameworks, whether EU data protection laws or local labor standards, adds further complexity. The human cost is equally significant. Thousands of U.S. employees face job losses or uncertainty, with severance packages offering only partial relief. The emotional toll is compounded by the sense of betrayal from a company long seen as a pillar of American employment. Additionally, Coca-Cola's partnerships with U.S. universities, which have fueled food science, sustainability, and marketing research, may face funding cuts, disrupting academic pipelines and community programs. Coca-Cola's brand, steeped in Americana, must now evolve. Will it adopt a cosmopolitan globalist identity or align with regional cultural values in its new home? This question is not trivial. Brand perception drives consumer loyalty, investor confidence, and regulatory goodwill. A misstep could erode market share, especially as competitors like PepsiCo leverage their U.S. presence to appeal to patriotic consumers. Smaller craft soda brands and regional bottlers may also gain traction as alternatives. The relocation will also reshape Coca-Cola